Hey, Shalom family. I want to talk briefly about deception and the anatomy of deception. So, I think that sometimes we think when we think about things like deception or wickedness or evil, we think of darkness, right? We think of something that is overtly that we would overtly see as being wrong or being not from the Father, right? But inherently in deception is an element of truth, right? So when we look at in the garden, when we look at Eve or Hawa, we see that when she partook of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, when she was contemplating it, it was presented to her as something that would, make her wise, something that would, she saw it as being pleasant for food. It was pleasing to the eyes. It was pleasant for food, and it was good to make her wise. It was something that was presented as something that was going to contribute to her, add to her, right? And when she partook of it, it says, her and Adam, it says that what the eyes of both of them were opened. They were enlightened in some type of way, even though this enlightenment caused them to be cut off from the tree of life. So not every light or what and not everything that presents itself as light leads to life, leads to the life of the Father. But there was an enlightenment that was presented to her, that she received. And but it was something that ultimately brought death, right? So this is the way that deception comes to us, right? It presents itself. It says that the adversary presents as an angel of light, a messenger of lights, right? So this is how deception comes to us, as a messenger of light, something that comes to bring some type of enlightenment to us, something that comes to try to add something to us, to contribute something to us that we think that we are lacking or that we are lacking in some way. So it comes to offer itself to us. And we see in these last days and in all throughout time, really, we see an increase now, but we see that things that things are presenting itself as a form of enlightenment. When you look at Matthew 24, 24, the Messiah is saying, he's talking to them about end days, both the end of their days as a being in Jerusalem during their time period, and what will continue from that time up until our time now is this falling away period that was happening then, that is continuing to happen now. He says that there will be false messiahs and false prophets, right? So what is a prophet? Is one that is hearing and speaking, that is bringing understanding and enlightenment, right? And what is that? What is a messiah? It's an anointed one, right? So there will be false messiahs and false prophets who are bringing enlightenment. Basically, there's going to be false enlightenment that's going to lead away. That it said it could lead away the very elect. What does it say here? Let me look at it verbatim. It says that they're going to arise and show great signs and wonders so as to lead astray, if possible, even the chosen ones, even the elect. So this false enlightenment is going to come and is going to bring an impact. This false light that is presented to us, and this false light carries with it signs and wonders, meaning it has an impact. It does something. It has an effect. So there's those who are messengers of a false enlightenment that has an effect that people take notice of, and it says that if possible, even the chosen ones will be led away by these type of enlightenments that's going to present itself, that has presented itself, And so what's the difference? So when we look at deception, deception is majority. Now, we're talking about the type of deception that will lead the elect astray. And there's a deception in the world. The world can be deceived by anything because there's no strong sense of truth and moral compass that is in alignment with the Most High. So it could be a complete lie, and the world can be led astray by it. But for the elect to be led astray, there has to be truth present in the deception. That's why it's called deception and not just a lie. A lie is deceptive, but deception includes a lie, but it also includes truth. So a deception is made up of a large portion of truth. I'm sorry, yeah, a large portion of truth, but then it has a lie in it. So something that is trying to deceive you may come and present itself 80% truth, right? But 20% of it is a lie. And that 20% lie is something that is potent, something that is toxic, something that is going to lead to death, right? But it's shrouded in that 80% truth. And in that 20%, see, what will lead the elect astray is that 20% lie possesses something in it that hooks to something that's within the heart. I talked about the heart in another video. When it's something in our heart, something that we're unhealed from, something that we're wounded from, something that we desire still, something within our heart attaches to that 20% lie that is in that deception, that hooks to us, that causes us to justify. We look at the 80% truth, and even though something in us may be aware, we compromise, right? We justify the lie by the truth, or we're blinded to the lie because of how it accommodates something within our hearts, right? So this is how the elect, even the very elect, can be led astray. The chosen ones can be led astray because these enlightenments that are presenting themselves and having these great impacts, is appealing to us. It has so much truth present with it, so many things that we can bear witness to, that we can shake our heads to and agree with, and it bears witness with us. And we, it has so many elements of truth in it, but yet it's not coming from the tree of life, the tree that leads back to the ancient path of Yah, the eternal way. So it's not leading us back to that. It may even lead us back to something ancient. I'm going to talk about that probably in another video, but it's not leading us back to the Ancient of Days, right? So we have to be careful of this false enlightenment, this false light that is not leading us back to the Most High, but that is appealing to us and showing us the signs and wonders that we're looking for. It's giving us it's feeding our flesh. That 20% is going to feed your flesh in some type of way to give you something immediately that you're not getting immediately through the process that the Most High wants to take you through, right? The Most High takes us through a process to build eternal character within us. But Hashatan always has some kind of alternative to present us with that will get us the immediate gratification that we desire without having to go through the process, right? It'll offer false alternative spirituality, because enlightenment is a spirituality, regardless of what pathway is bringing you on. It's something that's going to attach to your spirit, something that's going to awaken you in some type of way. But is that way the way that's bringing you back to the covenant of the Father, that relationship and that pathway that He has for us? Or is it just something that's gratifying to you at the moment to help you avoid the process that the Most High wants to take you through of purification in the way of truth, right? So the anatomy of deception is made up of majority of truth. That's why it's deceptive, because you can't be deceived unless it's some element of confusion here, right? So it has to present as something desirable, it's something, maybe it could be coming from Yah. It seems spiritual, so it's made up of majority of a truth. However, it's also containing a lie, and that lie is going to appeal to you in some type of way that's going to cause you to be hooked into it. So that's why it's so important to nurture our relationship with the Most High, to be able to hear from His Spirit, so that we can discern what's clean and what's unclean, what's right and what's not right, and for us to cleanse our hearts, so that there's no place that Hashatan could find in us. You know, there's nothing that we feel like we're lacking, that we need that gratification for. You know, so there's no lust of the flesh, there's no lust of the eyes, there's no pride, you know, that is resting within us and wrestling within us to cause us to be caught up in a deception, to be self-deceived, and to be drawn away into a deception. So deception presents itself as light, It comes to enlighten you in a way, and then it pulls you away, you know, and you, next thing you know, you're on a different pathway, you know, and it is gratifying to the immediate need of your flesh, and feeds your spiritual appetite, right? So we have to be aware in these days of being caught up in a deception. So how do we do that? We stay in truth, seeking the Most High for His truth, for His word, and keeping our hearts pure, so that we are desiring His truth and His way. Hallelujah. And someone asked me about how do we keep our hearts? How do we cleanse our hearts? And I think I'm gonna do another video dealing with that. So I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm gonna end this here. But stay alert, stay prayerful, and stay in a place where the Most High continually has access to your ear, constantly being in a place where you're Shema, where you're hearing and obeying the Most High and His Spirit, and responding, so that you're not caught up in a deception, and coming into agreement, in alignment with a deception. Okay, remember that deception has truth. That is truth there. You know, sometimes we hear something that's true, or we hear somebody say something that's true, and because most of it has us shaking our head, you know, we just go along with the rest of it. We just go along with the whole package because we can agree with something. Just because you can agree with something, first you got to check to see if it's the spirit, if it agrees with the spirit of Yah, or if it just agrees with you. You got to make that distinction. You got to come against everything in you that's not in alignment with Him. You know, and then you got to test everything, because just because most of it is true does not mean that the whole thing is true. We got to test the whole thing, test all of it. You know, test the whole thing. Don't let any of it. The whole 100% has to go through sifting to be tested. You know, so that part that may be poisonous is not digested and accepted. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Shalom, family.